Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I assume you're here for one of two reasons. Either you actually want to know how to beat Lych without watching any future tutorials, or you're just here to make fun of my strategy. But either way, watch on, because I do believe this will be helpful and you will actually learn a thing or two. Being someone who's followed Phoenix Killer tutorials for the majority of all of my Lych runs, I have noticed a pattern that basically makes the things that work in the Lych run work, and I've pretty much understood why you use all the towers that the tutorials use. And so after a while, I've pretty much learned how to do it myself and how to do it consistently, how to adapt the strategy to no matter what map Ninja Kiwi throws at us. And so I'm going to explain that pattern and the purposes of all the towers in this video. Now keep in mind, for this stuff to work, I'm expecting all the upgrades unlocked plus paragons. Starting with the farming, which is pretty much the most important part of any boss run, as you will need so much money for paragons in the late game. Before tier 1, when you're first starting out, you're going to want to set up 200 farms. This is because this is the most efficient thing that you can spam, and it's the most amount of money you can get per dollar that you're spending, and it creates a good stepping stone going into marketplaces shortly before the first tier. If the map that you're playing on also comes with a lot of water, you can also use this as an opportunity. After, for example, you have 4 or 5 marketplaces down, you can put down some merchantmen, as boat eco is one of the best forms of mid-game eco. Once you start getting to tier 2, you're going to want to go full out merchantmen. At this point, I wouldn't really recommend selling the marketplaces, but I wouldn't recommend putting down any more marketplaces either. You're just gonna pretty much worry about that much later on. Just leave them there for the extra money, but you're going to want to get down 21 merchantmen for the bow eco. And this is completely optional, but if you're the druid type of person, now would also be a good time to start druid ecoing. Once you beat tier 3, now's when you start putting down some banana research facilities. It's not worth it to go for plantations in the early game because they're not that much better than marketplaces, and marketplaces are just cheaper, and you can be lazy with them. You can be microing other stuff while having them generate money. But banana research facilities is basically what's going to be carrying your money output for the rest of the run, or more specifically, Monkeyopolis, which you will get later. This is also the time where you should upgrade all your merchantmen to flavored trades, and also get Trade Empire, or at least get one of them to a Trade Empire. You can also continue Druid Eco if that's what you did starting tier 2. Once you get to tier 4 and 5, you've basically already maxed out your money output. You should have maxed it out shortly between tier 3 and tier 4, and between tier 4 and tier 5, you're just saving up money for whatever you need for tier 5. By the time tier 4 spawns, you're going to want to have upgraded to a Monkeyopolis, maybe like 10 banana research facilities. That would be a good number for most maps into a Monkeyopolis. But the minimum I would say is at least 6 or 7 if you don't have as much space for the farms. You should also leave your flavored trades running, as that will be generating you roughly $10,000 to $20,000 per round. And now is when you go back to upgrading your marketplaces. There's 2 choices when it comes to upgrading your marketplaces. You could either sell them and buy new ones that are middle cross paths, as we did get 200 in the very beginning. So it's going to be a 204 if you upgrade into Banana Essentials, but obviously the middle path cross path is better. So you could sell them for the middle cross path, or you could leave it as it is. It really won't make much of a difference. Idea is you should have 10 Banana Essentials paired up with a bottom path tier 5 farm. If you did do Druid Eco on tier 2 and tier 3, you should sell your druids for more space for farms. It starts becoming not too worth it compared to the high tier farms that you can get. And obviously anything else like Banana Essentials, you should just get that. Now we're going to move on to how to actually kill the Lych itself. you've made a lot of money from the money-making methods that I have said earlier. Now, what should you spend it on? For the tier 1 defense, usually the best method is a sticky bomb, but if for any reason you can't get a sticky bomb, like for example, as of me recording this video, this week's Lych, it actually disabled Ninja, so the best way to overcome that is you can get down a tax zone plus an embrittlement, and if you somehow aren't confident enough that you'll beat the Lich Soul quickly, then you can also spam down more overdrives. So I forgot to mention this in the initial commentary, but you're also going to want to get a Moab Shove for the Chain Moabs. Once you get to tier 2, you should get a Druid Cult, which is basically an Avatar of Wrath, which is a bottom path Druid, paired up with 4 more tier 4 5 more bottom path tier 4 Druids. This basically creates a combination that absolutely shreds any Moab class Bloon, and it's in a way just a cheaper MAD. It's only about like 10k cheaper, so if you want to save some money, you could technically get the MAD right now, because the tier 3 defense is also going to be a MAD, and you're not going to have to sell or rebuy anything in between. It also acts as good defense, so that's also something you can do. By tier 4, you want to have a Dart Paragon down. A Dart Paragon should be way within your reach financially. You should have roughly $500,000 to $700,000 before you go into the tier 4 battle, and if you don't, you can sell some farms, as between tier 4 and tier 5 you're basically making infinite money. You can get the farms back almost instantaneously. In tier 5 is when you can basically go crazy. At least from my experience, most of the times when I go into tier 5, I almost always have more than $2.5 million, which gives me so many possibilities. I usually get down all the Paragons. If I have extra money, a Vengeful Temple, and then after that, Tag Zone, Super Biddle, Cripple Moab, Blue Storm, Flying Fortress, and Apache Prime and Archmage are all towers that have proven themselves to do very, very good boss damage. Keep in mind, up to a tier 4, you'll basically see the boss as almost an insta-kill. Tier 5 will be a lot slower, as the health increases exponentially, but you shouldn't worry, as long as you have most of the things that I've listed, everything should be fine. If you are short on money when you reach tier 5, an easy way to beat it is you can use all of the favorite trades that you bought throughout the game and turn that into a Boat Paragon, as money made also contributes to the pops when you make a Paragon, and you'll get like a degree 40 to 50, which is more than enough to kill a tier 5. Lastly, just a few extra tips and tricks. Between rounds, if you're having trouble with your defense, a good way to solve that is Alk buffing at the back and more glaives or recursive cluster. I know people are going to say that Alk buff heals Lich and you shouldn't use Alk buff, but in the earlier tiers this really shouldn't be a problem. Up to tier 3, the MAD on tier 3 and the Druid Cult on tier 2 pretty much insta-kills the Lich, and any healing that you're getting from an Alk buff shouldn't really be an issue. Besides, the Alchemist should be pretty close to the back of the track, and so it shouldn't really be getting even close to the Lich before it dies. Another thing that heals the Lich, but you can also utilize it really well, is an overclock. Between the bosses, if you want some extra money, it is good to overclock the Banana Central or your or your Monkeyopolis with an overclock, just for that extra money. But when the boss does spawn, you are going to want to sell it. It's really cheap to buy back up instantly, and so this is just for some extra money. I don't really find that you need that though for the tier 5. And lastly, for tiers 2 and 3, it's good to have a discount village vibing at the place where you're planning to put your Druid Cult and where you're planning to put your MAD, because it's just free discounts and you don't even have to sell the village between. And since you're using it to get a Druid Cult and a MAD, it's really good. It's a really good way to save money early game, as every dollar counts pretty much up to tier 4, where you have a really, really good farming setup. And lastly, I will now show a time lapse of a game that I've been grabbing clips from for this entire video that I played. This is pretty much the textbook definition of what a Lich run should be, at least in my head. And it will be on Cubism, so Cubism is basically like as typical as you can get for BTE6. Without further ado, enjoy the boss run. If this video helped you out in any way, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.